Hello everyone and welcome back to Beef Reacts. Today we're checking out The Worm. It's an animated horror story. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I'm trying to watch more horror shorts and stuff like that, or shorts in general. I know like it's not really a big thing or whatever. I want to just be like, I like doing it because I like seeing what other people are doing. I like looking at short films and stuff like that in general. I think it's really fun. And yeah, so before we get started, thank you guys so much for watching. It's always appreciated, but let's jump into it. Ooh. Who made this? This is insanely smooth and insanely good direction. Like, I'd love to see the storyboard of this. Like, this is nice. Ooh. This is real. Holy shit.
Hello?
Look underneath the car, you dummy. You know, this is why I don't hang out by myself. Just fuck that noise. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, no. Yeah, absolutely not. I'd just go inside at this point. Like, if I knew only my house was the one that was out, I'd be out. I'd be out at 5,000. This is insanely good suspense building. It's doing very good cuts. It's just... I'm not even just, like, without trying to suck it, without trying to be, like, whatever, like, it is just very well made for, like, a lot of different reasons. The animations go well together. There's an actual level of direction involved in it. Like, I was not expecting this when I looked at it, but like as a short film so far, you're showing off a lot of talent. Oops, sorry. Yeah, get... Yeah, fuck all this. I'd accept death. Yeah, like, you just accept death here, right? You just let yourself die. I feel like that's the call.
Sparrow Moon was not at all what I thought she would be. I wasn't given much time to go over her case file before our first appointment. But from what I had read, I half expected some kind of uncontrollable monster to walk through the door. She wasn't anything like that. She was quiet and guarded, smaller in person than what I had imagined from her photograph. A perfectly normal 17-year-old girl. That made it even harder to believe she was capable of doing the things that she did.
Now, the interesting part about this is that this seems like it's a very different story, but I really don't know yet if it's connected or not. But that exposition dump right there wasn't even too bad. Like, you're putting it from the perspective of a cop who's rereading the files. It almost gives off a noir-esque. I do wish that maybe they used a different shot because, like, yeah, you could tell it's kind of a police precinct. That was my first thought. But I feel like going inside or just, like, looking at it so that way we could see who this character is. Like, have it maybe panning over a police file or something. I think that would work a little bit better. Again, it's hard to, like, I always say it's hard to give critique because you have to be able, when you critique something, to do it without malice. Like, in the 1 in 1,000 chance that the creator of this watches my video of reacting to their thing, like, I'm not even saying, like, I don't say it to be mean. I say it like, I think this would have made it very strong. You showed a lot of, like, strength in the animation and just the directorial style in the beginning, but you've shown the same shot for 47 seconds at this point, or at least like a minute. Average pace you want to go for is like every 4 seconds have a cut. I'm not saying that unless there's like talking or moving or there's a monologue that encapsulates. But like, even so, the snow, maybe do like a scale zoom to make it seem like you're walking towards this precinct, but that's just me. Or jail.
She was the last surviving member of the so-called Woodfield Five, a group of kids all from the same remote northern town who suffered a series of unexplained, at times violent, mental breaks. Clinical notes suggest
Oh, it's the
some kind
worm.
of shared psychosis.
That doesn't
Though unlike anything
seem.
I'd ever heard of in my 20-year practice.
Oh, my lower back needs to stretch.
By all accounts, Sparrow had an unremarkable
Oh.
childhood. No indications of behavioral difficulty, good grades in school, active social life, no family history of mental illness to speak of.
Well, then maybe she didn't do
Her
it.
mother had been part of some offbeat spiritual commune years earlier, but had left that behind when Sparrow was quite young and eventually remarried. There was nothing to suggest any kind of underlying trauma or abuse, though as you come to find in my line of work, that's not always so obvious.
Well,
The
yeah.
only path to understanding what really happened in Woodfield was Sparrow herself, and that would prove more difficult than anyone anticipated.
Okay.
I learned very little over the first weeks of our sessions together.
Are
Sparrow was
you
often
So are you a psychologist then? Because if you are, then like, what?
uncooperative, careful never to allow the growing familiarity between us to weaken her resolve. I was not as strong. I became unreasonably attached to her.
That doesn't
The
sound
endless medical
good.
diagnostics revealed nothing we didn't already know.
Are those cuts on her upper wrist?
She barely slept. The scratches on her arms were self-inflicted. And aside from high blood pressure, she was physically healthy. No one
Well.
was certain about what exactly was wrong with her. And she was getting worse. The weeks turned to months, and I was running out of time.
For what?
The courts had determined that unless I could demonstrate conclusive progress in her treatment, Sparrow would be transferred to an isolated psychiatric ward and out of my care.
Running out of time for what? Why would they do this? What did she do? You just said you said words, but you didn't give me any information. And believe me, I'm an expert at saying words and not conveying any fucking information. So I think I know when I hear it. And what I just heard is, okay, so they're transferring her, but why are they transferring her? Because she's not making any real progress? Well, why? What's the difference between you making progress with her and in an intensive psychiatric care facility? Like, what are they going to be doing differently? And why would you not have gone there in your own treatment? Like, I'm confused on what they're going to be doing any differently than what you're doing, and you never even said what she did. It's called the worm, and we saw something happen that caused some type of psychosis, so like, what?
I could have walked away at that point. I probably should have.
Yeah, you probably should have.
But what I wanted, what I've always wanted, was answers.
About what?
After all that we'd been through, she wasn't a kid to me anymore. She wasn't a monster either. She was a puzzle to solve.
That sounds cool, but you still haven't said anything. You gotta say something. All right? Something. You said nothing. I feel like I'm being so critical and mean, but it's like, I'm sorry, you haven't said anything. Like, you've used a lot of words, you said a lot of cool dialogue, but you've conveyed to me, the viewer, no information. You have not conveyed to me any information. You've made me ask the question, what did she do that was so bad? You should have answered that question by now. Should have said she killed fucking 7 people. Should have said she did this. She should have did that. She did this. Anything. I'll take that she stole fucking a blizzard from McDonald's. Like, nonsense at this point. But, like, she's a puzzle to solve. Okay. I don't know what the puzzle is. You haven't given me any of the fucking pieces of the puzzle. You've given me bits of information about somebody that's interesting, but nothing concrete enough for me to make a fucking decision. God. Again, this isn't just me trying to be critical to be critical. This is me just dead ass, like, this is criticism that I've heard in class. I've heard shit like that because it's just, it's the way that you make art. Like, you have to be able to look at it and be like, what the fuck? Great cut on beat.
Pentothal can be administered to induce something called narcosynthesis, a state between asleep and awake where the subject is highly suggestible. In most places today, the practice is frowned upon.
Isn't that just
Normally,
truth serum?
I would never consider such a treatment, but given the circumstances, my options were limited. I knew full well that this could risk professional censure, perhaps even my career itself.
Yep.
That didn't seem to matter at the time.
Why?
After the injection, Sparrow was brought to my office. We were left alone, and I asked her to count backwards from 10. Though before she even got to 5, it was clear she knew something was wrong. Her breathing became shallow, and her eyes darted around rapidly. She began talking about a mist coming into the room that only she could see. She could hear a voice from within it calling to her. The drug had disoriented her to such a degree that I don't even think she recognized me. Sparrow's small size and chronic fatigue made the dosage I administered tricky. She drifted in and out for several minutes. When lucid, I redirected her, asking if she could tell me what the voice she heard was saying.
Kill them all?
After a long pause, she finally whispered, "Little bird." At that point, Sparrow was not interested in answering any of my questions.
Sparrow? Isn't that what a... Her name is Sparrow, and they whisper little bird. Okay. I want not more, but like, I just need something. I need something a little bit more, not conclusive, but we're halfway through. And like, mind you, I understand that you're not supposed to like give everything or do everything if you're making a short film to get a larger story made. I get that, but like, something.
She just spoke, and I listened. She said that it knew.
The voice acting is phenomenal, by the way.
It knew that was what he used to call her.
Who?
The old man. But
What?
the voice wasn't a man's. It was something else. She said it comes with the mist. That it takes things from you and it grows. adding to what it's taken from others. It eats you from the inside.
Kinky.
She didn't know its name, but called it the worm.
Okay. So it's a worm.
As Sparrow lapsed into unconsciousness, I was left with more questions than answers. I arranged to have...
Wait a minute, 182. Blink 182. Sorry. Guys, listen. This had such a strong showing, strong start. I feel like we're missing something. I don't know what we're missing, but I just feel like we're missing something. Just saying. Like it just feels that way to me.
her return to her room and resigned myself to the idea that I might never get the chance to understand the truth.
Well, at least you resigned yourself to that.
I destroyed the records of our last session to prevent the review board from finding out what I had done.
Okay.
It was over. Or at least, that's what I thought.
And then the worm came to him.
It was that night the dream started.
There you go. So this is gonna be a problem. Hell nah. To the nah. Hell to the no. Yeah, I would never in a billion years be doing this shit. Great animation. It's simple but effective. You're conveying your point. Great look at the camera shot. Dude, this is incredibly good. I just wish the writing and the story matched the directing and the shot choice and the cinematography and the fucking animation. Like, I wish the things matched. It's sad that they don't.
Wait, come back!
Oh, fuck that noise. And now he's in the water. He's swimming in molasses. Can he breathe? Can he breathe in water? Great swim. Again, that is really good animation. Like it. God, that is such clean fucking work. Why the fuck is the exposition so? Like it makes you ask questions, but then it doesn't answer any questions. It makes it too vague in a way that it's not paced properly. IMO.
Sparrow.
Little bird, little bird. Oh. Oh, that's a worm. Fuck that noise. Yeah, I'm out.
Every time I go to sleep, it's the same. It doesn't really matter how the dream begins. Eventually, the mist will come. And with the mist, always comes the worm.
Okay.
Just like she said it would.
Was she
can't
warning you?
run. That never works. It won't let you. The best you can hope for is that you wake up quick. Before it begins to feed.
Oh.
At first, I told myself that it would go away. It could be a simple anxiety-induced aberration brought on by the stress of dealing with the case. But
Doubt.
it was soon obvious that wasn't it.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
The nightmares didn't stop. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. It wasn't long before my colleagues began to take notice. Things got so bad I had no other choice. I called in every favor, pulled every string I could, and arranged access to Sparrow at her current facility. I needed answers more than ever. And she still had them. I almost didn't recognize her at first. She looked strong and alert, a stark contrast to the tired girl that I had spent all that time with. I didn't have to ask any questions this time. Just by looking at me, she knew all too well what was happening. We sat down, and Sparrow Moon gave me what I needed.
Answers?
The worm is some kind of parasite. A pathogen, an ancient thing passed from host to host, manifesting in their dreams, feeding on their deepest fears. It will not stop, always hungry for more. It won't kill you. It doesn't want you dead. It wants what any good virus wants: to propagate, to be passed on, to be fed.
Oh.
Sparrow tried to hold it inside of her, to protect others. She thought that if she could fight it long enough, it would die with her. She passed the worm to me the same way that it had been passed to her, just by telling me about it. You have to believe me. I am sorry for this.
Oh, he told me about it.
Now that I've told you, I don't know when, but sooner or later in your dreams, the mist will come.
Nice.
And with the mist, always comes the worm.
Cool ending. That was smart. That was a very cool ending for a very mid story. And it's like I don't want to say that. I don't want to have to be that harbinger to be like, oh, it was dope, but like, ow. Not like, ultimately what I mean is that you set up a lot there, but the monologue, don't walk home after dark, okay? Oh, don't walk home alone after dark. Their narration wasn't bad. There was great vocal color. There was great, like, voice acting work. I think the literature itself lacks in a lot of ways. Like, it's not giving what you need for a compelling story. You're offering a lot of questions. You answered those questions, not in a timely manner. And, like, you made this 15 minutes, and believe me, the animation was stellar. I don't believe it needed to be 15 minutes. I think that you could have cut out a lot of the narrative, and it would have been much better. Not in just a less is more kind of way, but in a sense of, like, you weren't conveying relevant information, and on top of not conveying relevant information, you were not writing in a way that paced evenly. I think the dream, like, I think you have the beats needed for that story to be told. I just think you could probably get away with it in under 10 minutes, if I'm just being real, because you have the same shot for, like, a minute for, like, 2 of these, so now we're down to 13, and you can always find 3 minutes to just cut out. That would require difference in, like, rearranging and editing the way something is spoken, written, and done. But, like, I don't know. Hearing him talk about, like, his own stuff for, like, 3 minutes while building ambiance, it just doesn't convey past that. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Question of the day is, what is your favorite horror short story? This has been Beef. Beef Reacts. Post every day. Peace out.